So this is the first Texas switch. It's when a stunt person hops in for an actor. So this is not Joel Marijuana. That's a stunt double. To figure out what your character's objective is.
That's why I'm like,
Manola is taking down Mr. Bowler Hat Man. Hey friends! John here, and welcome to The Martial Actor. Today I, a black belt, will be reacting to Season 2 of Cobra Kai. Now this is part 3 of a 3-part series, so if you haven't seen parts 1 or 2, check out the links in the description below, and let's dive right in. This is Season 2, Episode 10, titled No Mercy, and this is the beginning of the giant cafeteria fight. So this fight starts as a brawl between Tori and Samantha. Both Tori and Samantha have had their own fight scenes this season already, but when I saw that they were fighting each other, I got super stoked because I love seeing female-driven fights. Tori starts off and she throws a bunch of punches, kind of grabs Sam's purse, and then front kicks her back. Sam gets pushed back into the ring, and then Sam starts blocking off Tori's punches. She gets a really good evade, and then Tori just starts wailing on Sam. She gets a good elbow, but it hits the locker. And then Robbie comes in to try to save Samantha.
Let her go!
So Robbie gets a good side kick in, and then Miguel tackles Robbie, and then it turns into 2 different 1v1s. So now Miguel's fighting Robbie on the ground, and then Hawk just like explodes it into this giant hallway fight. So anytime you see fights with lots of bodies, it's always really hard to choreograph. So I really enjoy seeing it.
You're going down, nerd.
They get like a little comedic bit between these 2 like 10-year-old kids that are trying to fight. And then we come back to Samantha and Tori, and Aisha tries to de-escalate it, but then she gets pulled into the fight as well. So this is the beginning of a giant one-shot that lasts at least a few minutes. So we get to see some randos fight, then Hawk comes in, and that was a really good punch from that Asian dude. And this is all just such dynamic camera tracking. They're tracking the strikes, they're tracking the movement, but they're going all over the place. They're switching perspectives, they're switching sides of the hall, like it's just so dynamic. So this is the first Texas switch. It's when a stunt person hops in for an actor. So this is not Joel Marijuana. That's a stunt double. So then Samantha and Tori come back in, and you can see that that's actually Peyton List throwing those strikes. But then we get another Texas switch here. So this person is Peyton List's stunt double. And then they swap again, and we get Peyton List again. Especially when you have a giant one-shot like this, not only as an actor do you have to be aware of your partners, but you have to be aware of the camera movement as well, because if you jostle the camera, then it ruins the whole shot and you have to start all over. And so now we get Stingray. I don't love his character. I think he's kind of hammy. Like, see, with the leg thing, like, that had no real reason to be in there. Some people really like him. He's not my style, but, and the hip thing, it's like, okay. So now we are charging into like the common area. Peyton List gets some good kicks. And then she throws down Samantha to the ground.
Can't you just stop it already? What's the matter? You can't keep up?
And we're getting this elevation change where they're fighting on the staircase. I love seeing stuff like this. It introduces new dynamics into such a long fight, which is great.
You have to do something, Mr. Palmer.
So Hawk's wailing on that dude. The teacher tries to come and stop it. And then this stunt person gets an awesome elbow in. And then that was a really good hip throw. So yeah, love seeing that.
Not again. You can't cheat your way out of this one.
So Robbie and Miguel are fighting.
Like that move? Learn it from your dad.
And then Miguel sees that Samantha's getting beaten up. So he goes to try and stop her. Robbie gets a pretty good kick in. That was like a little bit of a weird pacing right there. I would have switched that out a little bit, made it a little bit different. Cutting back to the hallway. These are all like solid combos. That was a good jump crescent kick from that dude.
Cobra Kai. Could have been a badass.
And then he takes the book and just like whacks him in the face. That was a good hit.
Who's badass now?
So we're back in with Samantha and Tori. This is all clean choreo, looks good. It's a good flip from that stunt double. And then Tori kicks Miguel and he just goes flying back. So Robbie gets a good kick in. This dude gets good spinning kick, but Robbie counters with a sweep. And Miguel trips him. Again, we're like back to these comedic relief, like 10-year-olds fighting. And this is like really cute choreo. I mean, it's all technically correct. The dude needs to cover up, but, and then some security guard just comes and like takes him away.
Come on.
Back to Samantha and Tori. So I love hair drags. They're super safe and really easy to do, and they always look so good. So Samantha's really starting to turn the tides here. She gets a good spinning crescent kick.
Is that the only way you know how to fight? Dirty? This isn't a tournament.
So it was pretty obvious to me, even from the first time seeing this, that that thing is really just like plastic. But if other people bought it, then that's fine. So we get some Hawk versus Dimitri. Dimitri's like surprising himself with blocking. So that's actually really good technique. If someone's coming in for an overhead strike, if you can jam them, it stops their strike. And then he gets a super awesome kick. The stunt double did an awesome flip into the trophy case. That all looked amazing. Back to Miguel and Robbie. Robbie throws a reverse crescent. Miguel tries to throw a hook. That second elbow could have been framed a little bit tighter.
Never. Then why'd it happen?
And then Miguel redirects Robbie, kind of gets a hold of him. We cut back to Samantha and Tori, and she's just like trying to stab Samantha. I like how the bruise like instantly appears on Samantha's face. That's like a perfect stripe. That doesn't happen. Bruises take like maybe 10 or 15 minutes to show up. And they don't get like purple until a couple hours after, so it's whatever. That was a good stunt from Tori's stunt double. Those knees that Miguel were throwing like really would have no force behind them, but that's okay.
She doesn't love you, she loves me.
So Robbie gets a good side kick in, Miguel catches it, and then Robbie gets like a really tricky kick in. That was probably a stunt double. Goes for the knee. This is all like looking really good, really aggressive, really strong. Miguel takes down Robbie, and then he gets him in an arm lock, controlling his body on the ground, which is good technique. And then we get this flashback where Johnny's talking to Miguel about the difference between honor and mercy. And again, like the way that they weave in these flashbacks in the middle of fights, it really gives it like emotional weight, which is really good. You really miss that a lot in a lot of cinema and TV. Fight scenes are often just for the flashy stuff.
I'm sorry.
So I love seeing that. Miguel goes careening over the railing. The way that they use the speed ramp to slow down time really gives the emotional weight to the audience for this stunt. And then the stunt person really just like took that hit. He was probably wearing a back pad, but they were probably in like a real school for this. So they might have been able to pad that railing, but he probably just had to take the brunt of it. He probably wasn't falling from the full second story. They probably had him on a wire just out of frame, and then they dropped him. But even so, that would still hurt. That was an amazing stunt from that stunt double. And then we see this like Miguel with his body beaten and bruised. And that's the end of the fight. That fight scene is a beast. It's almost 10 minutes long, and they have some really cool things. I mean, there's really great choreo interspersed throughout all of it. They have good character dynamics between a bunch of different people. Choreographing that many bodies in that prolonged of a fight is a really tricky thing to do, so my hat's off to them. The one shot looked great, the Texas switches looked great, and then the stunt at the end was really just a cherry on top. It was a really great dynamic way to finish both the fight scene and season 2. I really like how it ended up looking. My hat's off to Cobra Kai. I really think that you knocked it out of the park with that one. Can't wait to see season 3, which drops January 8th, and I'll be doing another series of reacts to that season, so keep your eyes out for that. And that's all I've got for you today. So take care of yourself, take care of each other, and I'll see you next time.